Hey gang, Sean here. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, crap. There's something wrong with the recording. That's what Sean's going to tell us. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. The fact of the matter is, I'm here to remind you that on September 25th at 5 p.m., we're going to be recording the podcast at the Nerd Corner. It's a gaming store. They sell video games, tabletop games, all sorts of stuff, gaming systems. It's worth coming and checking out. We're going to be recording there. We're going to start recording at 5 p.m. I'll probably be there at 4:30. And you can come and say hello and maybe pick up some cool merch. The address is 1626 Lincoln Way, White Oak, PA, 15131. So you can put that in your GPS and find your way to check us out. And again, so we're going to be recording. I'll probably be there around 4:30, but we should start recording around 5-ish. And we'll probably be there till around 7. But we're going to be there. There's going to be fun and excitement. Come check out the store. We're going to be recording there once a month going forward. So again, that's the Nerd Corner, September 25th. We're going to start recording around 5 p.m. And come check it out and say hello. And welcome. It's episode 433, I think. I think it's 33 of the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says.
I wanted to tell you that I really couldn't have done all that without your help. And in fact, all the help that you helped me with when we were younger is still helping me today, right now. And that's super cool. I guess I wanted to say that after all these years, I never forgot you. Ever. And I'm super glad we're still friends. You don't
Sounds
know what
right. I should.
Yeah, you should, because that was Steve from Blues Clues this week.
Oh yeah.
His address to the nation.
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty cool.
It was like, okay, for those who don't know or don't pay attention to this for whatever reason, I'm sure that's going to be Thad and Stork. Again, this is the 25th anniversary of Blues Clues this week.
Right.
And the original host, Steve, came on and almost explained himself to millennials. Hey, I'm really sorry. I kind of left abruptly and said, hey, here's my brother Joe. Have fun. He's your new best friend. And I left to go to college. I did it kind of abruptly. And I'm sorry about that. Right. He apologized, but then he gave that part, even though I wasn't of that generation, I kind of rolled a tear.
Yeah.
Because I was like, damn, if I would have been of that age, that would have hit me hard. And with your, Anna and Bree were of that age. They watched Blues Clues religiously.
Yeah, they did.
Lisa's a fan of Steve, with the music that he made and stuff, the stuff he did after Blues Clues. And so are Anna and Bree. I think, even Elliot, she probably watched the later versions of Blues Clues.
Yeah.
But for Anna and Bree, when Steve left, that was probably a Richter scale event, the equivalent of when My Chemical Romance broke up.
Yeah, it was. For sure.
So, so to have Steve kind of come and talk to them and say, I never forgot you.
Yeah.
That means something,
Right. You got good coverage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was like funny because it was almost like I said, like the way I said, like it's almost like he was addressing the nation. Like, man, your shit's rough. I know. We've all been there.
Right.
But I never forgot you.
Yeah, I know.
And the stuff we learned together has helped me through my life.
Yeah, right.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. I thought it was like one of the coolest things I ever saw in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I was honestly surprised by it. Like, cause I saw it, I'm like, cause I like, when it initially hit, I'm like, the only reason I watched it is because of Anna and Bree.
Right.
And Lisa. Like, it was like one of those things. I'm like, let me check this out. See, then like when because I thought it was gonna be like a little something like, hey, happy 25th anniversary of the Blues Clues. Like, no, like he's like, I never forgot you. I'm just like, oh shit, man.
That's right.
For you, Steve.
Right.
And then I saw him like later on. I guess it was like him reacting like to the pilot episode of the first episode of Blues Clues.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, and Steve's like, he's a 40-something at this point. Looking back at like him as like a young 20-something actor,
Yeah.
this goofy show with the cartoon, the computer generated dog he never saw, and he's like, where the fuck did that energy come from?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was like one of those really cool things. I was like, and it felt real.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
It did. Like I honestly think he meant it.
Yeah.
In a way. Like, I mean, he's like, yeah, I mean, in the realm of Blues Clues, yeah, he went off to college, but the reality is he went on to pursue other pursuits. But
Right.
either way, it was like, and I'm sure at the time it was like one of those deals where it's like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? Steve's not the star of the show, Blue is. Well, no, Steve was the star of the show, and he just kind of like left. And that was like heart-wrenching for children.
It was. It just wasn't the same.
Yeah. And it was like one of those things that like it honestly felt like this heartfelt kind of like, hey, I'm really sorry I did that to you, but at the same time, look at where we're at now.
Right.
Like it felt very real. And I whether it was or not, I don't know, but I like to think it was. Like I like to think that this guy honestly was like, hey, I know I kind of fucked up your childhood a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but I never forgot you.
Right.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool. It's like made amends.
Yeah. to me, it would be the equivalent of like Fred Rogers, like being replaced, and like you're getting like, and now it's Mr. Nelson's neighborhood, and you're like, what the fuck? Who's Mr. Nelson?
Where's Mr.
Fred
Robinson?
go? Yeah. Yes, Mr. Robinson. Hello, childrens. What the fuck happened to Mr. Rogers? Speedy delivery still coming around. Like everybody else is still coming around. Like nothing's wrong, but like like that ain't Fred.
Right.
So yeah, I tip my hat to Steve. I hope he meant every word he said, and it was heartfelt, because it certainly felt that way to me.
I think he did.
And if it wasn't, that's damn good acting.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I think Blue's Clues enabled for him to do things that he wanted to do. I don't think this was a stunt.
No, I don't think so either. Like, I honestly believe like what he said was very heartfelt.
Right.
And we live in a time where like I call it into question just because everything is so jaded anymore. Like apologies aren't heartfelt.
Right.
Like how many times have I seen somebody come up there and go, I didn't mean to fuck her, or I didn't mean to take steroids,
Right.
I didn't mean to use pine tar, or corked bat, whatever. Like, I didn't mean to cheat, but it's like, but deep down, they don't fucking mean it.
Right. I think this was very like natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he still stayed in character.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that brought everybody back down to when they were 6 again. And he didn't do it maliciously.
No.
He did Steve the way he used to do Steve on Blue's Clues, like he was talking to his kids.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? The way he talked, how he explained things when he paused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all by design. You know what I mean?
Right. But like, I mean, what I think is interesting about it though is like, even though like, again, that's not my generation. I didn't grow up with Blue's Clues. I didn't grow up with Steve. It still struck a chord with me in a very interesting fashion. Like,
right.
Like other people outside of that generation that grew up watching Steve on Blue's Clues, like even though the message was for them, it struck a chord with a lot more people than it should have. I think that's the power of the message.
Right.
You know,
and it was like, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It was like really organic. Like it was just like kind of like this has no purpose other than me telling my kids that are now older how I feel, and that I never forgot them.
Yeah,
like there was no political, there was nothing. No. What's the evilness that's going on right now? And, you know what I mean? The COVID, all this crap. It was just organic, and it was right to them. You know what I mean? And I thought I think we need more shit like that in the world. Quite honestly.
Yeah. But
than the crap that we hear on news every day.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like his message was so pure.
Yeah, pure.
It was pure of heart.
Right.
You know, and that's what's so amazing about it. And I think that's why, even though it wasn't directed at me, it struck a chord with me.
Oh, I teared up when I watched it.
Yeah. But I mean, it strikes a little bit of a chord with you just because, again, you kind of watch those shows with your daughters. You know, so you have a connection to Steve. Like, you know, I mean, I watched maybe a grand total of 3 episodes. You know, I never watched a full episode of Blue's Clues with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I know who Steve was. I remember him. Like, when we did the mailbag, I mean, that was a nod of the cap to Blue's Clues from back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and so it's like one of those things though that like even though like again I have minimal connection to the Steve character from Blue's Clues.
Well, you probably watched Blue's Clues over at my house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I never watched a full episode. My connection is minimal.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is what even though again the message wasn't meant for me, it strikes a chord with me because it was so pure of heart. And it felt so real, this person having this conversation. Even as a character, I still felt like it came from that guy's heart.
Right. And, you know, it's funny. Ellie never really, as I remember, I mean, she got into it a little bit.
Yeah.
But not as much as the twins did. Ellie's never been a big of a TV person.
Yeah.
But the girls sure did. I mean... I guess Ellie used to watch some shows. I'm trying to think of the shows. Seems like I remember more, they'll probably chime in, but I probably remember more of the girl shows like Franklin and fucking Blue's Clues and Big Bear in the Big Blue House. That was huge in this house.
I watched shows, but you weren't home for her shows.
Yeah, I wasn't. Bree said I wasn't home for her shows.
Me and Fresh Beat Band.
Yeah. She did watch some shows, but not. I don't know. I just remember their shows more. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Team Limousine. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
But Blue's Clues was always, I mean, their favorite show to watch.
Yeah.
That and Bear. Bear was a cool fucking show.
Yeah.
But that's Henson. I think. Yeah, pretty sure. But anyway, what a great show.
Yeah. And what a great moment. Like, I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like I said, it felt good.
And I think that's what we need right now.
Yeah. Like with everything is happening in the world, and I mean everything. And especially like, I mean, we're recording today. We're recording on September 11th, the 20th anniversary of that horrible event. It's like, what Steve did just felt good. Like we just needed that.
Yeah, we did. It's funny. Ellie still won't. She gets really bad anxiety over September 11th.
Yeah.
Because, of course she was, not born yet.
Right.
But I mean, like.
Which is like weird. Like, I mean, to her, it's just a historical event for her.
Yeah, but it's not. That's how I know my kid has some empathy. But,
yeah.
I mean, I'll turn on stuff, but I had started to have to be careful years back because it was too hard for her to watch.
Yeah.
Like the planes going in and the people jumping really bothered her, stuff like that, which is horrific. I mean, I don't even know why it was even on the thing. And they actually play all this footage in schools now as part of like a history lesson.
Yeah.
To younger kids too. And they had they finally got to the point where it was like, if your kid doesn't think they can handle this, here's a permission slip for them not to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we finally started doing that with her. But anyway,
that's just weird. Because like I remember like when I was in high school, like when I was in school, like we didn't learn about like World War II, like really learn about World War II until like my sophomore year. Like and then they just like cover the Holocaust and everything else, like everything that was involved with World War II, like everything up to that point was always like pre-20th century stuff,
Right.
And like you get to like my sophomore year, and it's like, and here's World War II and the horrific things that happened, and you're like, holy shit, like so I can't imagine. It's like to me, like I mean, that was done deliberately because you're at that age, you can handle what actually happened.
Right.
So like I can't imagine like going to like an 8-year-old and saying, oh yeah, here's September 11th.
Yeah, and they would show them footage.
Yeah.
It was like a day of learning. I'm like, what are we learning here?
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, I just didn't understand the point of it.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to understand the point. It really was. I mean, like I don't know. I was conflicted on why they were even showing. I mean, a lot of those images weren't PG-13. Put it that way.
No, not at all.
I mean, they were not G-rated either. I mean,
yeah.
Not that I'm going on the guidance scale, but I mean,
that was faces of death.
Throwing death in the face of an 8-year-old is pretty fucking weird to me.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Like with all the shit that they hold back from kids, like to like do that about September 11th is like bizarre to me.
Yeah, well, your skirt has to be to your knees, but here's a guy jumping out a window on September 11th in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, really? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. We're gonna mandate this dress code and this, that, and the other, but here's a guy on fire.
Yeah.
It never made sense to me. But I find it interesting. So I usually watch those shows when she's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not the conspiracy shows either.
No. Yeah, I don't watch.
Just the facts. I still can't believe conspiracy theorists claim that there's no plane that went into those buildings. I don't see the logic.
The only one I buy into, like realistically, like, and like when I say buy into, okay, I'm going to preface it by saying, like, I believe the plausibility of what you're saying because the evidence you present makes much more sense when you sit down and think about it.
Okay.
I don't think a plane hit the Pentagon.
I haven't seen any footage of a plane hitting the Pentagon.
Exactly.
I've seen the explosion.
Yeah, I think that was a rocket.
You think?
Yeah, Like, yeah,
what happened to the flight? What happened to the people?
I know that's the problem. Like, I mean, when you look, like, I get what you're saying, and like the thing becomes like it's this weird thing of like when you look at that, when you look at what happened at the World Trade Center, when you look at what happened at Shankstown or Shanksville, there's wreckage everywhere. Like you see what happened. Like there is no wreckage to be found. Like when you look at footage of the Pentagon, there's no wreckage anywhere.
Right.
There's a scarred building. There's no footage of a plane actually hitting the Pentagon.
Yeah, but what happened to the people?
I understand what your point. And that's why I'm saying like.
Do you think they had anti-missile? Do you think they had anti-aircraft fire on it before it could get there and it made it?
I don't know.
Somewhat.
I don't know. But like the only reason like I'm trying to preface this like I don't believe this, but the evidence presented, I can't sit there and say, well, you're fucking wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I can look at it and say, okay, well, you make some good and interesting points. Like we're talking about the Pentagon,
right?
The headquarters of the United States Defense System. There are cameras everywhere. You're going to tell me not a single fucking camera picked up an airplane hitting that building?
Unless it hasn't been released.
Right. Well, yeah, I get your point, but yeah, I mean, and again, like I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracy nut. I don't believe this, but it's evidence that when people provide it to me, I have to sit there and say, okay, you make good points, but
right, because I mean, like, I think on top of the White House where 93, I think, was supposed to hit. It was either supposed to hit the White House or the Capitol.
93 was supposed to hit the White House.
I think they have missiles on top of the White House. I think there's a missile defense system.
Yeah,
built in.
I mean,
the White House.
Nobody's ever confirmed that.
You know it's true.
Yeah, I there's not a doubt in my mind that there is a missile defense system on top of the White House.
So if there was a plane coming toward the White House, it would have been shot down by the White House. If the jets didn't get them first.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking. Almost what happened to the Pentagon.
That's a possibility. Yes.
And it hit it. And then the rest of it flew into the Pentagon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, again, like I'm not buying into conspiracy. Like, I believe a plane hit it, but I can also say there is a possibility a plane didn't hit it, and that was. But And
I've heard the speculation too of the bomb, like them planting bombs at the bottom of World Trade.
Yeah.
And how it imploded. But when you look at the science and when you look at people talking about it, like actual engineers,
right,
how they discuss it on how actually light the World Trade Center was,
right,
how open it was,
right, because it was nothing but trusses.
Yes, and structurally, once that metal heated, and how heavy the top was, it just imploded.
Yeah.
That's believable to me.
When I went through firefighter training, one of the things they tell you is never trust a truss.
Yeah.
It'll heat up and it'll give way on you every time.
Yeah.
Avoid shit like that. So if you're talking about a building, it's nothing but trusses.
Right. It's gonna melt.
Yeah.
Or give way.
Right.
And that's what happened, unfortunately. But God bless those first responders and everybody that was involved in that. I can't even imagine.
No.
I can't.
No.
I mean, those guys had to be in shock. Just from the plane hit. Do you know what I mean? And shocked that they have to respond to this call, number one.
Right.
Don't you think? I mean, the fucking skyline's on fire.
I
Coming from a firefighter, former firefighter.
again, my experience is extraordinarily limited, but I mean, I've been in a burning building, and I've been to a number of house fires working on the outside.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine at all what it would have been like to be in the cab of one of those trucks driving up on the World Trade Center and looking up and seeing what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine it at all.
I know.
The thought of that just baffles my mind, because I know what went through my mind the one time I went into a burning building. And it was just, be smart.
Yeah.
You know, just be smart. Don't do something stupid. Don't be a hero. Just find your way through and get the fire out.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, being around burning buildings a number of times, like, again, it was always just know what's around you. You know where you're standing, know your terrain, so that something bad doesn't happen. You
Right.
know, and know where the guys are inside.
Yeah.
You know, and with something like that, I can't even, like, you know, like, all that. Nobody's trained for that. That is just pure guts. Pure guts to just say, okay, I'm going in. I have no idea. I've never been trained for something like this. Nobody's ever been trained for something like this. I have no clue what the fuck I'm going to do, but I'm going in.
Yeah.
I'm going in to try to save somebody.
Right. And they did.
Yeah.
They saved thousands.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they lost theirs.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard to. I watched something today earlier, and it says, you know, as soon as he got out of the truck, all they were stepping on were pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, more shock, you know.
Yeah.
And there was an interview with one firefighter. He said when they first arrived there, a guy was completely on fire.
Yeah.
Coming at them. I mean, witnessing that, watching it on TV is one thing on a movie. When you're witnessing that for real in real life, that's a whole different scenario.
And here's the thing, like,
You know?
Steve Buscemi is a guy that I will forever, ever hold in high regard. He was a retired firefighter. He was a New York firefighter.
Mm.
And he quit to become an actor.
Mm.
And when the World Trade went up, he showed up at his station geared up and went down.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
And
That's
nobody
some
questioned it.
balls. No?
No, nobody's like, you don't fucking work here. Everybody's like, gears over there.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just nuts. And it's tough going into a building knowing that you can't save everybody above the such and such floor. Yeah, I mean, you can't get them.
Right.
It's completely cut off. They're done. I mean, there's no way you can get to them. And there wasn't. There was no way to get to those people above the crash site.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know those people are going to die. And you couldn't get to them, and they couldn't get to you.
Yeah.
No matter what you did, you couldn't get to them. And so you have to go in knowing that, and then trying to save everybody below the floors. That's nuts to me.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, that's hard. That's just crazy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So you watch anything this week other than 9/11 specials?
No. I just watched the 9/11 stuff today. No, well, Justice League, not Justice League. You know what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
Not Justice League.
Titans.
Yeah, Titans. And I watched. I didn't watch, but on the way down the. You don't know about my week. We'll talk about that after the show.
Okay.
I did start audio Ready Player 2.
Okay.
I'm on chapter 11, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's pretty good.
It's
So
okay.
I mean, it doesn't live up to the first one, no, but it keeps me interested so far.
Yeah.
And that part of that's Will Wheaton, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I read the book, and it was just like, I don't want to say it was a disappointment, but it didn't feel as good as the first one did.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
What sequels do, bro?
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I know. That's the
Godfather 2.
That's the classic lines.
The Dark Knight.
So anyway.
Yeah. I watched Mythic Quest.
What is that?
That is a it's got
And how haven't I heard of it?
okay. Well, it's got the one guy from It's Always Sunny. Rob Mulhaney.
Okay. What network or what?
It's on Apple TV.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah.
But the concept is, he created this massive multiplayer online game called Mythic Quest. And it's kind of like, the story of like him as a creative designer, his lead coder, Poppy, who's like this Australian girl who's hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this writer who, like, from like the 70s. His name's C.W. Longbottom, but he's played by F. Murray Abraham.
Okay.
And he's like this, like, complete, like, he's always like, talking about, like, I love Thailand. I love going and spending time with the lady boys. I think you're like, dude, but it's like this, like, but it's basically, it's about, like, this studio, this video game studio, and this game, in their game. Mm-hmm. And it's really good. It's funny. I thought it was really well done. It reminded me a lot of the fifth season of the Guild, because that kind of was like taking place at the game that they played. But still, I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty serious at times. There was some serious moments. I was like, oh shit, that got deep and dark. But there was some good stuff in there as well. Like, I enjoyed it. I'd highly recommend it if you have Apple TV.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 2 seasons.
Uh-huh.
They left it open, like, kind of like the end of the second season was kind of like, okay, well, this could be the end of the story, but they left it open enough that they could do a third season if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, the guy from It's Always Sunny, he's like, I got other commitments right now, and I don't want to, cross things up. So, maybe once my schedule clears, I can come back to this, because I'd like to. So who knows when we'll see a season 3.
I see.
Kind of like Sherlock at this point. Like, maybe we'll never see a season 5 or 6, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I watched that, and
And that's about it. Big AEW pay-per-view last week. I watched that.
Yeah.
That was great. That was it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching. I need to go back to it because I just got to get into it. I think the Venture Brothers.
Okay.
Like everybody's raved about that show, how good it is. So I like to sit down and watch. I saw it's on HBO Max now, so I need to sit down and kind of watch that. And not the latest season of Rick and Morty's completed. I gotta go and watch that too.
Yeah.
Plus, I still want to watch What We Do in the Shadows. That's on my list of things to watch.
You need to watch that for sure.
Yeah. Anywho, so I'm sure you saw the big trailer on Thursday.
The Matrix.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Looks pretty good to me, man. I'm ready. I don't care. People say, "Oh, they told the whole story." I was like,
"Did they?"
Yeah. I mean, this world is so fucked up. How do you even know what the story is? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You don't know what's truth or lies from the first 5 minutes of a Matrix movie. So just chill out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I'm ready for it. I don't care. Keanu Reeves, I don't know.
I'm just intrigued to see how the rules are being reinterpreted.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching that trailer and it doesn't look like any other Matrix movie.
Right.
Like the thing about the Matrix was when you were in the Matrix, there was like a green hue to it. So you knew this was in the machine. This was the Matrix.
Right. Right.
And when you were in reality, clearly, they were wearing, burlap sacks, and, flying around in these sewer machines and shit. Like, there was like, it was amazing. But,
right.
But you could tell the difference between what was reality and what was the Matrix. In this, I'm not seeing that.
Right.
Like, so I don't know what's real and what's the Matrix. Is any of it in the Matrix?
Right.
Like, that's the thing. And so, like, but and the other side of that is like, okay, when we last saw Neo, he sacrificed himself in the Matrix to save the Matrix.
Right.
Against Agent Smith. And like the whole Christ pose as he's,
Yeah.
But like, so like to me, like, okay, like, so the way it plays out in my head is like, okay, so Neo died in the Matrix and part of his coding remained there. And so the Keanu Reeves we're seeing now is a ghost in the machine.
Could be, yeah.
Like that was like how it played like out my thinking in my head. Like even before I watched the trailer, like, okay, well, how can you bring Keanu back?
Right.
And this is kind of how I was kind of playing out in my head. Is like somehow, like because he died in the Matrix, his coding remained there as a ghost in the machine, but he doesn't have, based upon the trailer, he doesn't understand what he is.
Yeah.
So how the fuck did Carrie Ann Moss get in there?
Dude, I don't know.
Because she got impaled with a spike. She was nowhere near being in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So like, how is she there? Like there's a lot of questions like I need answered as to what's going. And clearly, like she's in the Matrix because she's moving like it. I mean, like there's a lot of shit that's like, okay, well they're moving like they're in the fucking Matrix. Shit's going down like they're in the fucking Matrix, but it doesn't look like the Matrix. Where's the green hue? There are rules that you set in the first 3 movies as to what is what, and now you're breaking those rules or creating new rules, and I didn't know what those rules are.
Well, I'm sure it'll come to light.
I hope so. Like I hope, like again, because here's my greatest fear. You and I spent months just every time a trailer dropped for Jupiter Ascending, just drooling all over it.
No, I know.
We were both just like, I cannot wait for this. The Wachowskis are back. This is going to be amazing. And it was a fucking turd.
It was, man.
It's one of the biggest disappointments I have ever seen in my life. Like, even as beautiful as it is visually, it doesn't make up for how bad that story is.
Yeah, I wonder if... I guess we'll have to see if Keanu starts promoting it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's out there in front of this and pushing it and promoting it, that means he's seen the final cut. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if he believes in it, he'll push it. But if we don't see him anywhere, no talk shows, none of this crap, and it's just going to come out, then he's like, let's work on chapter 6.
Yeah. Let's go back to John Wick.
Yeah.
That Wick shit seems to work.
And it does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It baffles me because it's like I just have I know it's only Lana Wachowski. It's only one of the siblings. But it's just they have such a stink on them right now. Yeah. And again, like having like been one of those people that's had to sit down and dissect that original trilogy of Matrix movies to fully understand what I saw, and still am like, there are parts of it where I'm just like, that just doesn't make any fucking sense. Right. But there are rules that you set in place, and I'm interested to see like, what is it just on the Matrix is in 4K?
But it's so funny with the first Matrix, it wasn't hard to dissect.
Well, no, it wasn't. Like,
it was so straightforward. I mean, you can sit there and watch that movie and says, "Oh, okay, I get it. I understand this. Oh, this makes sense." You know what I mean?
Right.
Even like it made you almost become a scientist by watching it. Does that make sense?
But there was like, if you rewatch it, there is subtext to that movie.
Yeah.
Like there are subtleties that that the problem is that they were subtleties. Like there were things that they were doing that you could see, like, okay, psychologically this is what this is. Like there's a lot of stuff that they put in there, but it's subtly done. The problem is in the next 2 movies, it's no longer subtle.
Yeah, and it's almost like you are expected to know what was going on.
Right.
And a lot of times in the next movies, and you're like, I don't know. I don't really understand this.
Yeah, you were expected to have...
I don't really understand why this is happening.
Like you were expected to have read Dante's Inferno and the works of Ninchki and like all this shit that they like were like doing as using as influences and not even being subtle about it being influences and shit like that. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
and even like at the end of the second movie, like you had to be a coder to get that.
Yeah, I felt like at the end of the second movie, I needed to take a pill.
Yeah, like I had to talk to my Frank Groves, who was a coder. He went to Pitt for computer programming, and like have him kind of explain the ending to me, as to what the fuck the architect was talking about, because it was all computer gibberish.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like, once he explained to me, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But, like, watching it in a movie theater, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, right.
Like, the first movie, you could just watch it as an action movie and go, holy shit, that's amazing.
And come out of it going, that is one of the best action movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
It still is.
Yeah,
But the next two are just, like, so full of bullshit.
yeah, I know. It is. I was like, can't we just put on the leather and just go for hell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, just can we put on the shit again and just, like, put the sunglasses on, gun up, and just take out the world? That's what I wanted.
Right. So my concern becomes, like, is the fourth movie just going to be full of more of their bullshit?
Yeah.
Or are they going to learn from their lessons? Or is she going to learn from the lessons of the past and say, okay, let's simplify and go back to what we did. I'll put my bullshit in there, but I'm going to make it subtle, and I'm still going to tell them a story that even the basic, schlub can understand.
Right.
Without having to, like, dig deep into, like, the recesses of my local library to find the information I need to understand your work.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just wait and see.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm interested in is, like, I guess they're not bringing back, what's his name?
Lawrence Fishburne.
No. Well, yeah, I know they're not bringing him back, but Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, his agent was destroyed.
Yes, but he was a good villain.
He was.
And that was the villain that you absolutely hated in that movie. Like, he played a great villain.
Yeah. But, like,
I thought he was a great villain.
But even, like, the whole thing of, like, Agent Smith taking over the entire Matrix was just like, oh, man.
Yeah, I'm talking about the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah, like his whole speech about it. And the smell. I didn't expect the smell. You're just like, oh, man, you are a fucking asshole.
He was, dude. He was a fucking jerk. And, like, that still, I mean, every time he says Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
Mr. Anderson.
It's almost become pop culture almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just really like that first movie.
Are you the hacker known as Neo?
It's so good, dude.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll have to wait and see and see what happens.
Yeah. We'll
I'm still excited they're making another Matrix. I don't care. And Keanu's far enough in his career to be like, nah, I'm bugging out of this one. You know what I mean? Or I don't think this is very good.
Like, I'm excited too, but it's one of those things where, like, like, I watched that trailer and I thought, wow, this looks really fucking good. And the back of my head is like, yeah, you thought the same thing about Jupiter Ascending, dumbass.
Yeah.
And, so, like, that pulls me back. And also just, like,
I think at this point I have more faith in Keanu Reeves than I do the Wachowskis. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, yes.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, I do. I mean, like, I think Keanu has put out some good shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In recent years, especially with the Wicks, and I really don't think that, I could be wrong, but he just doesn't ever seem like the guy that's going to go in for the payday. He's getting paid now for the Wick series.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get that. Like, that's part of what gives me hope. You're right. Like, the part that gives me hope is, like, Keanu wouldn't do it just to do it.
I don't think he would, dude.
No.
So, and I would hate to see that happen to him.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's like one of the nicest guys on Earth.
I also believe in Neil Patrick Harris.
That's right. He's in it too.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah. He's playing the psychologist. I mean, that's like cool. I was like, okay. But again, like it's all like, what is going on?
Yeah, like what would make Neil Patrick Harris do this movie? It's kind of interesting.
It is. It's like an interesting conundrum. Like, because again, like he's a guy who doesn't do movies very often. He doesn't do like a ton of shit.
No,
he's been paid.
Yeah. Well, he's on Broadway too.
Yeah. So like for him to like sign up for this like makes me like also give me a little bit of hope because he's a guy who wouldn't just sign up for a payday.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
So.
One can hope.
So did you see the other big trailer of the week?
What?
Picard season 2.
No, I did not see that.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and watch that, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there. So, what did you think of that?
I was pretty excited to see what's her name back. Locutus, whatever. Yeah, the Borg Queen. I couldn't think of the actress's name. Because that looked fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about going back to the 21st century, though. It's like that old chestnut. Are we? You know what I mean? It reminds me of the original Star Trek when they went back to the Old West. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Or Star Trek 4. You know what I mean?
Right. I know how much you despise that movie. But like I think they can do it really well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not dogging it. I'm just
I
mean, it's going to be better than what I think it's going to be. But.
Like, I don't think the whole season's taking place in the 21st century. I think you might get an episode or two. Like, I think there's going to be more going on. So I have high hopes for it. Like, I liked it. Like I said, I think, and I get your point. Like, it is that old time travel chestnut.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do feel like modern Trek has shown me, because like even like okay, like I mean, First Contact was a time travel movie, but they did it really well.
Yeah.
As I feel like modern Trek has shown that they do a better job of telling the story.
Yeah.
Time travel is the old chestnut, but at the same time, I think they're going to use it in a way that tells a good story.
Yeah, as long as the story is good, I'm okay.
Yeah.
We got wheels, Captain.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm intrigued by it. Like, I know that the Borg Queen isn't Alice Krieg, who was in First Contact.
Right.
And I think she reprised the role in Voyager. I know it's a different actress, but still the same character of the Borg Queen, from what I understand.
Right.
So I am intrigued, like, especially now that Jean-Luc is technically a robot. He's technically an android.
Right.
Like what psychologically how that's going to play with him.
Right.
You know, because I mean that was a big deal in First Contact. I mean that it was clear like Starfleet was even like we really don't, you know, we know you got the most powerful ship in the fleet and all, but we really don't fucking trust you.
Right.
You know.
Well, I like one of my favorite points in that movie is when he starts fucking destroying his fucking ships.
Yeah.
His models. And
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh. You know what I mean? Like, who's this guy? Who's the new girl? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I like that part. But
like the PTSD he had from his time as Locutus.
Oh yeah.
It was clear and evident, you know, and he was taking it out as rage against the Borg, you know.
That's
they
what happens.
must be stopped. The
That's what
line
happens.
is here.
That's what happens when you get probed.
Yeah. yeah, exactly.
That's what he had, a flashback of getting probed, and he fucking destroyed everything on his ship, on his little chambers.
Well, he destroyed everything in his rear, so, you know.
How dare they put that there?
Yeah. I'm a Frenchman. We won't stand for this.
Why do I have a Roku remote coming out my ass?
Yeah.
Why are my balls glowing?
Yeah.
What's happening right now?
Dr. Sung was like, you know, as we analyzed your body, we found some very fascinating things jammed up your rectum.
Yeah.
Not sure if you want us to replicate that in your new body. What do you mean up my rectum?
He's like, that Borg Queen's a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, it looks good.
Have you ever heard of Inspector Gadget?
Right, exactly. It looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I like it that crew is coming back.
Yeah.
I like the guy who has the ship. Like, I'd watch a show about him.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
He's like the Han Solo of Star Trek.
Yeah, like he's like the cool character. Like I was like, the first season, I was like, this guy is a badass. Where has he been in Star Trek lore? You know.
Yep. Shady past.
The closest I got was like Kirk and Riker. This guy, I could follow. You know.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. And yeah, I like that they're you know, the 7 and 9 is back. And clearly, again, like the whole thing with the Borg, like it's a very deep connection with her as well. So I like it that kind of plays into it as well. Yeah, so I like that brought that cast all back, it looks like, and that excites me. And I kind of like just like the look of it. Like it excites me. Like I like, you know, I like being excited by Star Trek because Star Trek for years wasn't exciting.
Yeah, you know.
You know, and so like this makes me happy. And I can't can't wait for it. Like it's like, okay, when does this premiere? I can't wait. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the trailer. Like even like Q, like in Star Trek, he was like such an annoying fucking character, but like, and here he even seems kind of, he's probably still fucking annoying, but I mean, not in the normal way. Like, you know,
yeah,
like I like, you know, the trial never ends, Jean-Luc. I was just like, fuck, I hate this guy.
I like the fact that he said, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. I'm too fucking old for your bullshit. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm done.
Yeah. I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good, dude. I just get worried when they. I don't know. I just get worried when they pull out that old recipe book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just concerns me. That's all.
I get that, but at the same time, like I have faith because I feel like the way modern Trek stories are being told right now, I think it'll work out. Like it may only be an episode or two where they're in the past. It's not going to be the entire series.
Yeah.
Like because I think that if it was if it is the entire season, like if it's like from episode 2 through 10, I'll be like motherfucker,
Yeah.
But like if it's only like 2, maybe 3 episodes tops, I'm there,
Yeah, because I mean, one of the reasons we watch Star Trek is to discover strange new worlds. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I want to see. I know this world. I know what a police car looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm good.
Yeah. So, I like you're right. Like I like the idea of like the exploration and the adventure of being in space, not the adventure of being a man out of time.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like fucking Discovery.
Yeah.
It's just so neat. The stuff that goes on in Discovery is just fucking
especially
wow.
with the jump 1,000 years into the future.
Right.
Where you're like, wow, shit is fucking crazy in the future.
Yeah, and even when they went to what's his name's home planet, Saru's home planet, I thought that was just intriguing.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was just like, wow, I've been waiting for this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, they're throwing effects in. I mean, seriously. I mean, they are throwing effects in Discovery like they were throwing in I am losing my mind, dude. Like they were Sigourney Weaver.
Okay. Ghostbusters.
They're remaking. They're not remaking. They're making more movies.
Alien.
No. James Cameron.
Fucking Avatar.
Yeah, but they were throwing effects in Discovery like they had an Avatar. You know what I mean? In some of these worlds.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm digging. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is cool. They're dropping a lot of dough here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what's fascinating is, I mean, special effects have come a long, long way.
Yeah.
To the point that like doing digital effects isn't as expensive as it was 20 years ago. And so you can do that with a show like Discovery. But also, like, when you look at like the volume for what they're doing with Star Wars.
Right.
And that's trickling into other projects now. Like other people are kind of replicating that in a way. And so that digital effect that those strange new worlds can be expanded even further because now it's not green screen, it's right there on a screen next to you.
Right.
So you as the actor don't have to use your imagination anymore. It's right there for you to see.
Right.
So I think like, I guess what's exciting is like, Lucasfilm pushing that envelope, and again they have the money to do it.
Right.
But for a TV show, like I'm sure like I know the Book of Boba Fett is using the same technology. I know Obi-Wan did because I heard Ewan McGregor talk about, like he was talking. There was an interview with like him and Pedro Pascal. He was talking about being on those sets. They're using the same sets or the same studio to do Obi-Wan as they did with the Mandalorian. And he was talking about like the crew and everything's the same from the Mandalorian. And he's like, and being in that volume and you like the technology. He's like, it's so like when I did my trilogy, it was all green screen, and we were told like what to imagine. Now it's fucking there.
Yeah, right.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to act with, you know.
And it's yeah. Well, not only is it easy to act with, but it's like someone looking at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, like the facial expressions and stuff like that are a lot of those are probably going to be real.
Yeah.
Like when you're seeing this, you're like, whoa, that's badass. You know what I mean? Like it just makes it easier for them.
Like he talked about, like by the time we got to Revenge of the Sith, 3/4 of the set was just green screen.
Right.
He's like, the only thing that was real was like furniture.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you can imagine how hard that is to work on. Like, I mean, nothing was real. Now I've got like something I can at least like I have a reference. Like
It's tangible.
Yeah, like before, like I'm fighting Anakin on it like a steel beam, and I've got George telling me, well, what's a steel beam, and this is what you have to imagine it is, and you know, it's just a fucking green log I'm standing on, you know.
Right.
So, like, and I'm sure like with eventually it's going to make its way over to Paramount, and like they're going to be using that. You can imagine what they can do, you know, with that type of technology, with the planets and whatnot that they want to explore.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Oh, I can't wait for that. I did want, not to change complete subject, but I did watch this special on the movies that made us.
Yeah.
So I watched the Ghostbusters one.
Yeah.
Wow, was that good?
Yeah.
You talk about a tearjerker. Did you watch that?
No, I wanted to, but I haven't got a chance to.
Holy shit, watch it.
Okay.
You're like,
What about
oh.
They talking about Ivan Reitman?
Ramus.
Oh, Harold
That's
Ramis.
tearjerking part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they talked about Reitman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I meant Harold Ramis because he's the one that found. Ivan Reitman's still alive, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should watch it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good in depth, and it's not that long. It's like a half an hour long.
Yeah, those are usually like a half hour long.
Yeah, but it's good. It's like a breakdown of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
How the characters and stuff. Who was supposed to be played?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought they just cast that movie and we're done.
Yeah.
But that's not the cast that Dan Aykroyd wanted for that movie.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear about any of that?
No, I'll have to watch it.
Okay, I won't tell you.
Yeah, don't tell me.
It'll shock you.
Yeah. Like that's the one I did want to like. I can't remember what other movies were involved with that series that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember like I said, like it was like Back to the Future was one of them. Like, fuck, I know damn near everything about Back to the Future. Like, you know.
I didn't watch that either. None of them really interested me except for Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? Just because I like those actors, so I just kind of wanted to see what they had to say. It was like a behind the scenes. It was really good. So I mean, like, and a lot of the ad-libbing by Murray, and like it was good. It was very I don't know how to describe it. It was just it gave me a good look into Ghostbusters because it takes it from Dan Aykroyd writing it, what it became at the end. And so I thought that it goes through the whole process in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
That's cool.
Getting the actors, updating the script. What are we gonna do? We only have this much time. To all these people involved. It was really good.
Yeah.
Them stealing Lucas people to do the effects. I mean, like, that's just a glimpse. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty good, man. You should watch it.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
I'll
really
check that out
interesting.
because it does sound interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. So I did watch that, and another news tidbit: ABBA is coming out with a new album. I know.
Crickets.
Yeah, but listen, the thing that's cool about it is, now here's where the nerd part comes in, right?
Yeah, they look like Tron.
Well, they look like Tron, but they went all digital into like avatars. And I thought that was really cool. But the detail on these avatars is like amazing. Like that's what I couldn't get over was the digital detail of these avatars. I was like, damn, that looks like fucking It looks incredible. Anyway, they built a whole stadium in England for it. I mean, not just for them. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do other shows like that. But I thought it was pretty cool. Just technology. That's what I'm saying. Like the technology aspect of it is just where we're at technologically. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, I get that. But
It does. I mean, if you can recreate something like that, holy shit. It does. It just blows my mind. I couldn't believe the avatars. It was sick. But anyway, so I watched some of that.
okay, well, I got nothing for you on that. I'm sorry.
From a nerd point of view, you should appreciate the avatar. The special effects that go into something like that is groundbreaking.
Okay, much the same way I view Hamilton. I am not, even though it's very cool, nerdy thing with the technology, because it's ABBA, I will not give it the time of day.
I hear you, but from the technology aspect of this, the Hamilton had no technology involved.
Okay, but the content is king here, and so unless they like do it with like Bowie or Prince or something like that, I can give two shits.
I think that's what's coming.
Right,
is what I'm alluding to.
Right. So when they get there, then you can wake me up. But because it was ABBA, I don't care.
I thought it was cool.
Okay, I'm glad you did. Good for you. But I saw ABBA and I just kept scrolling. I do have interesting news for you though, and I want to hear your input on this.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Halloween Kills will be available to stream same day it's released in movie theaters on the Peacock.
Oh no. That's probably going to be a movie experience for us.
I'm sure it is. But, I mean, it's one of those deals now where I feel like this is a movie studio showing a lack of faith in the box office.
Yeah,
I guess.
Well, Shang-Chi did pretty well, from what I understand.
It did, yeah. It did. They were very happy with it, from what I understand.
It's gotten pretty good reviews too.
Yeah,
I hear.
Everybody I've seen that's gone to go see it says it's very, very good. And Marvel has said, or Disney has said, the rest of their slate is theater only. There's no same day streaming. There's no even for like the extra purchase like they did with Black Widow and Gorilla and Jungle Cruise.
Hamilton.
But
I watched that, by the way.
Jungle Cruise?
Cruella. Did I tell you that?
No.
It was pretty good.
I heard it was okay. Emma Stone, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I don't know.
That's the draw for me.
I don't know. How you can go wrong with that.
No. But
you can cast her as fucking Porky Pig, and I'll go see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously,
I know.
No pants, by the way. No pants, Porky. I'm in. But I mean, no, but no, she's I went in with very low. I'm talking like Bantha fodder low.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't even like the original Dalmatians. So why would I even remotely like this?
Yeah.
But it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's not a musical.
Yeah.
For sakes. You know what I mean? It's actually a story.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I get it. I get where it was coming from. So I liked it. I think you like it too. I just watching Emma Stone because she hogs the screen. I mean, she's on the screen the entire time.
Yeah.
With many different outfits. With glasses and not glasses.
Yeah.
You know.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm there with you.
Yeah.
But getting back to the original content here.
Yeah.
So Halloween Kills going streaming same day. How much does that concern you?
About if the movie's good or not?
I've heard some people speculate about that. Like, this is a lack of faith by Universal Studios that this is a good movie, and they're just going to try to cut their losses and maybe even try to use it to lure you into getting the Peacock just to watch this.
I don't know. Isn't Jamie Lee? Isn't she the executive producer of this?
She's involved in some way, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they've given her
Yeah.
like a.
I mean, she's so big on making a good movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she does not come out that often and do movies. I mean, she did Christmas with the Cranks. I mean,
Yeah.
she's done movies.
Right. I get what you're saying. I don't think it's a bad faith move. I think it's a
Lack of box office revenue move. Yes.
yes.
I agree.
I mean, this is a movie that's not going to come out and do $500 million.
Because I don't think that
Even-
she could do that. Even as she was,
Right.
She, don't get me wrong. I mean, she's a phenomenal actress, but what am I trying to say? She doesn't command that kind of audience.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay. So
Marvel, just the logo Marvel commands
Yeah.
that kind of an audience.
Right. I agree. Like, I mean, that was the thing. Like, with Shang-Chi, it was just like, I mean, just that logo coming up is enough to draw, $100 million.
Right.
Like, okay, so going back to the 2018 movie. So that movie was made for $10 million.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
The 2018 Halloween.
That's not bad at all.
No.
So seriously.
Opening weekend, $76 million. And its U.S. gross was $159 million total.
That's nuts.
Right. Now, I mean, that's for a $10 million movie, that's spectacular.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So-
crazy.
Right. So with Halloween Kills, let me see if they have the budget here. They don't. I don't have the budget. So, I mean, let's just say, it's double.
Right. Let's say it's 20 mil.
$20 million to make the second movie.
Right.
Man,
$10 million is not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Did Curtis even get paid?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, with a movie like that, like, I mean, it's like, so even at $20 million, I mean, if you make $40 million, you've doubled your investment.
Right.
It's just, it's like I feel like, okay, like Shang-Chi, I think over the 3-day weekend, not including Labor Day, I think they pulled in like $80 million over the 3-day weekend, which is like, phenomenal for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a smaller movie, like a Halloween Kills, I mean, may do $10 million for the first that opening weekend in a COVID situation.
When is it released?
It's like early October. Like it's just around the corner. Let me look here. October 15th.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I hate horror movies that are released after Halloween. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Never has.
No, I get what you're saying.
I've never understood it. Oh, I think we're gonna release it on November 7th. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why? It doesn't make any sense. People want to go to scary movies. You know what I mean? Like before Halloween.
Yeah.
After Halloween, they're kind of done for a little while. I mean, they build up for it all September, October, and then
Yeah.
Now they're thinking about Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, I just like I wonder, like, and particularly with Universal with Peacock, right now their big claim to fame is as the home of WWE.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're thinking to themselves, well, that audience that we're probably not going to get to come out to see the movie, maybe we can get them to buy into this.
Right.
And you put it like in the premium section where I think it's like, because I think there's like a free version of Peacock where you can see some shit, and then there's like the premium version to get like the pay-per-views, the WWE pay-per-views and shit like that. And so I think that's like $5.99 a month. Like it's not that expensive. And so you pay the $5.99 to see Halloween the same weekend that it was open in theaters.
Right.
And so you get that 70 million back. Maybe you only make 10 million or 20 million at the box office, but you get your 70 million because X amount of people have signed up for Peacock now.
Right. And it's a month-to-month basis too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of people might drop Peacock after Halloween. And then Peacock will put something else out and they'll be like, okay.
Right. But the thing is this, like a lot of people complain because they don't have, the only place you can watch The Office is on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
But The Office wasn't enough for them to get Peacock. Well, now, I got Halloween. Oh, look, I can watch The Office now.
Right.
And now you're hooked because The Office is that's comfort food for many, many people. That is fucking comfort food.
Right.
And I just gotta think that they're trying to find that hook, and this may be a pretty good hook. And then you find the other stuff on there, and you say, okay, I'll stick it on.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis sues Peacock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a weird thing of like you're making this decision like a month out. Like, fuck it, we're gonna throw the fucking thing on Peacock.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed this shit works.
Or are they saying that? Or are they saying, yeah, I think we're going to do this because this is a better business move?
Right. Well, but I think like from the standpoint of like the box office is my point. Like, well, we can put it out there and we can eat it, or we can put it on the Peacock and have a better chance of making.
Right.
I mean, I think it is a business move they're looking at, but I think it's a business move that they're making because it's like, fuck it, we don't want to eat it too much at the box office.
Right.
Like you said, like Shang-Chi drew because not because I think there was a ton. Like okay, I'll say it this way. Like I think Asian audiences went to go see that movie much the same way African American audiences flock to see Black Panther. But there's also just the consideration of like you and I just said, like, all you need to throw up is that Marvel banner. And there's a lot of nerds that are going to go see that movie anyway, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because that Marvel banner's at the top of it.
Right.
Like, I want to see the movie, and I've never read a fucking Shang-Chi comic book.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, I just want to see it because it, you know, it's got Marvel at the top of it.
Right. And it's probably going to be good.
Yeah. But like I think like for Marvel, it's a perfect storm of, well, okay, you have the Marvel banner at the top, so that's going to draw a certain crowd, and you know, also the fact that this is a predominantly Asian cast with an Asian director, you know, who, you know, so we're going to draw that crowd as well, and so
right.
you have a perfect storm of, even though it's COVID, you get a really high return on that because these are two groups of people that are willing to ride the storm out, and you know,
right.
So I don't think you have that with Halloween. I think you've got a diehard group of horror fans that will go out to see it, but I think that hardcore group of horror fans isn't big enough to support.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We'll see.
Yeah. Much like Dune, all 10 of us hardcore fans will be out in theaters on the opening week, and everybody else will watch it on HBO and complain about it.
When's the opening weekend?
Oh, God.
26? I'm just kidding. 2026?
It's October something.
Oh, really? So it's coming up.
Yeah. Dune. Yeah, October 22nd.
Okay.
I should have like my calendar marked for that or something, I'm sure.
I really hope it does well, but I just know it's going to tank.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I hope it does well. Seriously, with the money that's probably involved with this movie.
$165 million budget.
I just
whatever
have
they're spending on advertising.
I just have a feeling that it's going to go the way of Jupiter Ascending. Not as a bad movie, but
right.
How many people?
Because it debuted at the Cannes Film Festival and it's come back with some rave reviews.
Well, maybe it'll catch a buzz. You know what I mean? I think that's what they need. I think that the film is going to need a buzz. To like, oh, you should see this movie, Dune. You know what I mean? Like, oh, This is pretty good. This is good science fiction. You know, maybe they'll catch a buzz and people will start flocking to it. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just my actual hope is that the streaming numbers are such that they're willing to invest in doing the second movie.
Yeah.
You know, that's my hope. Like, you know, oh man, let's watch this this Dune. It's 3 hours. At least we can pause it. You know.
Yeah.
Where me, I'm like, you know, wearing
3
a catheter.
Hours. 3 hours long.
Let me look. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing because that's how long it should be.
That's a drawback too.
Let me see if they have a running time listed here.
I haven't even seen a commercial for that shit.
2 hours and 35 minutes.
That's not too bad.
No. Yeah.
We'll see.
So. I don't know.
And I will gladly eat my words if, you know.
Well, no, I know, like, from financially, it's going to tank. Like, I know. Like, I would love like, it's sad to say, like, I mean, I wish this movie was being released in a COVID-free environment.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, yes, it's going to tank, and it's going to tank horribly because of COVID, and again, Warner Brothers streaming on the same day.
Right.
But like I said, like my hope is like the streaming numbers are such that Warner Brothers deems that, okay, let's make the second movie. I mean, they're supposed to make a fucking Dune TV show about the Bene Gesserits and shit. I can't wait for that. Like,
Right.
Where's that motherfucker at? I'm giddy for that. So, like, this whole everything else, like the movie, like I just like fingers crossed it does well in what Warner Brothers is aiming for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a hardcore audience that's going to show up for this movie. There are hardcore fans of Dune, and like I said, there's like 10 of us. You know,
Right.
like my plan is to go see it in the theater on Friday and watch it again at home on Saturday. You know,
Warner Brothers owns a lot of properties, man.
they do.
That was a huge purchase. You know what I mean? Or a deal. I'm sorry. That whole Warner Brothers, HBO Max. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and it's funny, like you think about it, like, but they're always probably second behind Disney as far as like major properties go because of everything they own with like DC Comics. You know, just the
Harry
over
Potter
the years,
series.
the Harry Potter series, the Matrix series. You know, like there's just so much shit over the years where you're just like, you know, wow, like Warner Brothers owns some shit.
They do.
You know, and yet, you know, but you know, when you compare it to Disney, everything that they fucking own, you're just like, well, that's a distant second. You know?
Yeah, but still. Shouldn't we be getting a new Fantastic Beasts movie at some point here?
I know it was in production. I know.
That's good.
You
Thank
know,
God.
yeah. I mean, they had the whole fallout from Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they had to clear that shit up, and then, you know.
They recast him?
Yeah, they recast him.
It's a shame. I like that in that role.
And, you know, J.K. Rowling won't shut her mouth. You know. So. She's somehow being canceled.
Yeah.
All right, but that's it. That's all I got.
All right.
Man, this is a long one.
Sorry.
That's what she said.
Mhm.
Well, first off, let me remind everybody, if you've made it this far, congratulations. But don't forget, September 25th, 5 p.m. Here or so, you know, depending on when Ian actually arrives.
Mhm.
I always want to tag you. I see that in Facebook, and it's always like, if you could win $1 million based on somebody being late for an event, who would you invite? I always want to be like, yeah, I'll invite Ian.
Yeah.
But then I remember I'm late for shit all the time too, so he'd probably say, "Fuck you, I do the same thing to you."
Right.
So, but no, we're 5-ish. We will be at the Nerd Corner here in White Oak, Pennsylvania, recording the show in the store. It's a very exciting time. We can't wait to do that. I know the folks at the Nerd Corner are also very excited for that. And for those of you who want to know, the address is 1626 Lincoln Way, White Oak, Pennsylvania, 15131. So that's 1626 Lincoln Way in White Oak. It's easy to find, guys. It's not that hard. But I'll post that to the Facebook page. I'll post it to Twitter, just to let you know as we're getting closer to it. There's going to be, you know, in-store stuff going on as far as like getting a percentage off of your purchases if you purchase anything, and I hope you do. Come down if you're in the local area and just say hi. If you're Thad to repeatedly yell Baba Booey. We will have security available to escort him out of the building.
Nice.
Especially if he tries to show us his Polish sausage.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's September 25th, 5 p.m. at the Nerd Corner. Check us out.
Sweet.
We're excited. They're excited. You should be excited too. And we'll be recording there monthly. So once a month, we'll be live and on location.
On location.
On location.
Next to the sandcrawler.
Yeah. And remember, if you want to get in touch with us, we're very easy to get to. You can reach out and touch us by sending us an email. That email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd. We're very, very easy to find. And remember, we are also a member of a number of podcasting networks. You can find us on the Tangent Bound Network, the Weeby Geeks Network, and the Pod Breed Network. Just give them a Google search and you'll find all the other great podcasts they have to offer. And always as lastly, we want to thank you, dear listener, for checking us out each and every week and going on this amazing ride. We can't thank you enough. And on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.